Hello everyone and welcome to my antique channel. My name is Deanna and I'm the owner of Vintage Touch Antiques. I'd like to welcome those who are new to my channel. I welcome all of you, of course, but if you are new to my channel, I'd like to invite you to subscribe before I begin. And you can always subscribe even now. You can hit the subscribe button. And I hope that if you like antiques, you'll find that I have a variety of antique-related videos here on my antique channel. I show things that I have for sale and that I find. I also show collections of mine as well as decorating ideas and more. So I hope you'll find something that is of interest to you and consider subscribing. And of course, hit that notification bell so you don't have to miss whenever I put up a new video. Also, here on my webpage, which is where I am, there is a link below to my webpage in the description. You'll find featured items that I have for sale along with recent sold items, and you'll also see a few featured items that I have for sale in my online store. I also have a link below for that, and that is where I sell vintage and antique pieces. I invite you, before I begin with what's been selling, I invite you to visit me in Antique Crossroads, where I have a double-spaced booth. You'll find my booth on the left side of that large mall that has 200 plus dealers, and you just look for the large Vintage Touch sign that hangs in the back of my double-spaced booth. So let's just get on with this video today. Because we have another month upon us, it's time for what's been selling. And so what I will show you today are the pieces that sold from my featured items here on my webpage during the month of April 2017. So let's just get right in and let me pull up the first item that sold during April that was featured here. Now this was part of my garden and outdoor setup, and I do try to have some flower pots. This is a vintage McCoy flower pot with a little attached saucer there with the embossed exterior, 4 inches tall, and that one sold for $10. And another piece that was in my garden and outdoor display is this Ohio Art little child size watering can. This one has a lot of character wear, if you like it like that. It really has a lot of history with it, with the surface rust and so forth. Still a wonderfully cute piece, and that one sold for $12. Now this was a Victorian bedside bell. It just stood 5 inches tall. It had the turned black lacquered handle there, wood handle, and that one sold for $12.50. Now you may have seen this one in one of my other videos, maybe New Arrivals video, and this is a cute little distressed wood folk art duck with his Google eyes there. I thought he would be a real cute piece for somebody's garden room or porch area, and he stood 4 3/4 inches tall, and the price on him was $12. Now this is a Pfluger skeleton reel. This is a fishing reel, and I sell a lot of early fishing collectibles, and this reel sold for $12. Now this was a mother tribute poem that was framed. It had a date of 1926 on it, had a nice little sentiment there in the poem, and that one sold for $9. And this was an online sale. This was a primitive nutmeg grinder that you can hang on the wall. Had the little lift top lid there, and that one was priced and sold for $9. And of course, if it's online, you will also pay for shipping. And I sold the last of my Victorian 8-inch porcelain hat pins. Those sold for $5 each. Now this is a Victorian family portrait that's in a swing frame, and it came with an early portrait there. It held an 8 by 10 size photo, and that's a wood frame that has the swing back and forth so you can position your picture the way you would like. That was a reduced item, and it sold for $20. This was also a reduced piece, and this is a 19th century leather gunpowder bag. Now this one had a burn area here, which really added to the history of the piece. You only have to use your imagination to come up with a story that goes with that. And that piece was reduced and sold for $29. This piece was a large 5-pound size tin litho hinged lid, Canton ginger that was made, the brand name on that is Riches. That's a nice advertising tin, like I said, large size. That one sold for $29. And this was another online sale. This was a 1 3/4 cup, held 1 3/4 cups of liquid. This is an old tin cup with the D-shaped handle there. Nice primitive piece that you can do a lot with it. A lot of people put like old pillar candles in that and fix it as a table piece. But this might have been something that they even had soup in around the campfire. That one sold for $6. Another picture in a frame. This is a deep well frame, and this frame is an antique frame that had a 2-inch depth to it before you got to the picture. The picture could hold up to 9 by 11. And that one was priced and sold for $28. And then this is a lawn sprinkler, again from my garden and outdoor display that's up there right now. And this is made by the Lafayette brass manufacturer. It had the swivel sprinkler handles there, or arms, and that one sold for $15. Nice cast iron base to that, heavy duty. Now this is an antique scissor style pineapple core. This you'd pierce down in your pineapple and remove the core. This was an early 1900s all steel piece, still probably very usable, and this one was priced and sold for $9. And then this was a beater type of slotted spoon that you could dip with. It had right here in this area the word beater with a patent date of 1903, and that one sold for $7. And then this was a nice little early 1900s child's hanger for the children's or baby clothes. It had this cute little motif here of geese in costume, and that wood hanger sold for $10. This is an Antique Puts woolly sheep. This is German made, nice little village sheep. This one was 3 inches tall, and they are priced according to their size. This is the stick-legged toys, the German toys that you find periodically, and this one sold for $28. Now this was an antique butter press or butter print. It's a double wheat pattern, you can see there on it. Great patina. I love butterwork tools because they have that buttery patina on them. So they're just such nice pieces to feel and touch. And this one was priced and sold for $35. And then this was an early stoneware crock. It was painted in a swirl pattern, which I thought made it quite interesting. It was a 7-inch tall crock, stoneware, like I said, and that piece sold for $29. Now this was a late 18th century to early 19th century ovoid jug, and as you can see, it is almost round there. And of course, whenever they have that lovely round shape like that, that dates them to earlier times. This is a red ware, so it did have a lot of character wear. It did have a missing handle even, but still it had that wonderful display quality to it, and that one was priced at $39. And then this was a large antique gray granite coffee pot. It stood 11 inches tall. It had the nice tin dome lid there that was attached, hinged lid. And that piece sold for $39. And this may have been one that you saw in one of my videos as well. This is a folk art duck decoy with a lot of had a lot of weathering to it. It had painted eyes, and it did not have a weight on the bottom, so it sat flat. And that one was priced and sold for $29. This was another online sale. This was Clinton Laundry Starch, and it had a nice graphic there, vintage graphic of a lady ironing a man's shirt. And of course, a lot of people buy these early laundry advertising pieces for just to decorate their laundry room even. And that one sold online for $10 plus shipping. And that brings us back to the beginning of our video here and of our sold album. And again, I would like to remind you that if you visit my webpage, you will see featured items that I have for sale in my antique booth that's in Antique Crossroads, Hagerstown, Maryland. But the best way, of course, to see what I have to sell is to visit my booth there, because not all things are featured and online for you to see. But also, I'd like to remind you that if you are interested in purchasing things that you see on my videos, just let me know. Most things can be transferred to my online store, where they can be purchased there. Most times you can find the my email address in the description of these featured items on my webpage. So just look for it there, and it's also on the front page of my webpage if you scroll down to the About Me section. So I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to enjoy your antiques, because when you own an antique, of course, you own a piece of history. So bye-bye till next time.